Hello everyone, this is Mike. Welcome to my channel, Mike the Tech Savvy. In front of me I have a veteran device, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Hero LTE, so the Exynos-based Samsung Galaxy S7. It's running a very fluid and very battery friendly custom ROM right now, not to mention very stable. And this one is LineageOS 17.1. This is the build that can be found on the XDA forum, and the developer is of course Ivan Meller, the guy who designs LineageOS builds for Samsung devices. He's been doing an incredible job with this one, and I decided that maybe it's a good time for me to review it and for me to show you how to install it and to decide whether or not it is a good choice if you still have the Samsung Galaxy S7 as your daily driver. So let's start off. In this video I will show you how to install this LineageOS build and how to optimize it, and I'll try to give you a small verdict on it, whether it's good or whether there are better options out there. So let's start off. I'll put the device aside for now and I'll show you a couple of things. You have some prerequisites. Of course, you will need a Samsung Galaxy S7 device, that's for sure. I haven't tested it on any other variants other than the Hero LTE, so the SMG 930F, but I believe that it will work on all Exynos powered Galaxy S7 devices. Please, before installing it, try and search in the thread and make sure that your device is compatible if it's not this international variant. Of course, you will need some files in order to flash this custom ROM. I'm assuming from the start that you already have TWRP installed and that you've been running a custom ROM for some time. This is because the device has stopped receiving security updates from Samsung a while ago. You should be on a custom ROM if you're not. So I'm assuming you're on a custom ROM already and that TWRP is set up as a custom recovery on your S7. Of course, you will need some files. You will need a ROM zip file, the latest TWRP, and some optional packages. Everything that you see here will be listed in the video description below. Regarding the ROM zip file, it can also be found in the XDA thread. In my case here, I'm running the January build. Of course, you will need the latest TWRP. I always download the official one. It works without any issues. You have some optional packages, such as the OpenGApps. If you need GApps and if you want to have the Google Play Store, you would need the OpenGApps package. And the Magisk root is optional as well. I'm assuming you're a power user and that LineageOS offers this kind of functionalities. You would definitely have to install the Magisk root. Let's put this aside. I'll now give you a quick look on how to install this very interesting LineageOS build. Right now we're on build 20, the January 2021 build. I have already copied the 4 files from here into the internal memory of the device. And now I will reboot the device into recovery. I do have the advanced recovery activated in the developer options, so I will boot up into recovery straight from here. If you do not, it is very easy to boot into recovery. Just power off the device, and after it has vibrated, you should power on with the following key combination: volume up, power button, and home key, and it will boot up straight into here. I will assume that you do not have the latest TWRP installed. It's pretty easy to refresh it and to update it to this latest version. Just go into install image, select the TWRP image, select recovery and swipe to confirm flash. Once you flashed it, you should go into reboot and recovery. It will reboot straight into here, but you will definitely see the latest version on the second row. Before actually starting with the installation, you should go into wipe, advanced wipe, and here you should select Dalvik, system, data, and cache. This will not wipe your internal storage. Swipe to wipe, and you're now ready to flash the actual ROM. Go into install. There are the 3 packages that I told you about. This is the ROM zip file, the Magisk zip file, and the OpenGApps package. You should flash them in the following order. First of all, of course, you should flash the LineageOS zip file. Swipe to confirm flash. If you choose to install OpenGApps, you should select it immediately afterwards and swipe to confirm flash. After you've installed these two. Do not flash Magisk. At this point you should reboot into system, and only after the first boot, after you've set up the device in the setup wizard, after connecting to a Wi-Fi network and so forth, you should again restart the device and flash the Magisk zip file. So please do not flash it immediately after flashing the ROM. I will now reboot into system so I can give a quick look. I've already flashed everything including Magisk, and you have the beautiful LineageOS boot animation. Okay. What's interesting to note is that after flashing the Magisk zip file, the Magisk Manager app will automatically appear. And as an added bonus, if you check the safety net, boom, just take a look. Everything passes up with flying colors, which means that all your banking applications will work with no issues. The fingerprint for the banking applications will work without any problems. Yeah, it's basically like a stock ROM, but a stock ROM that allows you to do whatever you want on it because you have super user access. The device feels, well, renewed, I might say. It feels really good, and it definitely feels very responsive. It is very responsive. It doesn't only feel responsive, but it definitely is. As all LineageOS ROMs, it is pretty clean. Most of the apps that you see here have been installed by me or by the OpenGApps package. And an added bonus, which I like very much with LineageOS ROMs, is that the Play Store allows you to install some apps which, well, normally do not work, such as here. I do have Google Maps and Google Maps Go at the same time. Usually you cannot really install Google Maps Go on a normal device. It won't be even listed in the Google Play Store. This allows you to install some light applications if you choose not to use the fully fledged versions. If you go into CPU-Z, you can see the specs. Everything is quite normal. You don't really see anything out of the ordinary. You have the security patch level at January 2021, and you can be sure of the fact that it will be updated monthly. You will not only get security updates, but you'll also get some improvements. I really like that this ROM is tweaked to have some very interesting stuff, which I haven't seen so far in any ROM. Let me just give you a quick look. So this is the basic drop down, and just check out these two options, these two last options. So we have the anti-flicker, which I'm not really sure what it does, but if you notice the flickering with your naked eyes, you can simply tap this, and I'm assuming it should reduce flicker. You do have a very interesting toggle here, the fast charge toggle. So if you'd like to preserve your battery so it will not heat up as much, you can just deactivate this fast charge toggle and it will charge up at, I'm assuming, 10 watts or something like that maximum. I don't usually run benchmarks, but this time I wanted to try it and to see what kind of scores would I get. So I immediately installed Geekbench. You can see the specs of the CPU here. It's an octa-core processor. And now let's check out the results, which are very, very impressive. Let's just take a look at a typical Samsung Galaxy S7. So this 339, you can assume that it's the score of a typical stock Samsung Galaxy S7. So just take a look. We have about 60 points extra. And if you take a look at the scores here, it's above the Samsung Galaxy S8, which is mind-blowing. In multi-core, we do have almost 200 points. And again, it's very powerful, almost as big of a score as the S8, which has about 1372, and this one 1321. Very, very close again. And just for the sake of the argument, I decided to test some of my other devices. I do have here a Samsung Galaxy S10e, and this is my current daily driver, the Pixel 4a. As you can see here, the S10e obtains the best score, but it's really interesting that the S7, a device which is now 5 years old, obtains, well, a similar score to the Pixel 4a, which is indeed a mid-range device, but it's a 2020 device. So it almost reaches the score of this Pixel 4a, and it beats the multi-core score. Incredible. Yeah, indeed, the S10 is faster than both of them, but this one has a much faster CPU, and you can definitely see it. So you do have this cluster, and just try and compare the speeds here. It's definitely the faster of the bunch. But I was really curious and interested and the fact that a flagship from 5 years ago can be more or less on par with a mid-range device from today. And this is not a weak device by any means, the Pixel 4a. It's still a decent device. Let's put these two aside. I don't really have a purpose for them in this video anymore. So you've seen that this Samsung Galaxy S7 is pretty powerful, and of course it is as powerful as you see it here because of the optimizations that have been done to this LineageOS build. It's definitely very fast. You can clearly see it in the day-to-day usage. Another feature of this ROM is the fact that you definitely have a much better battery life compared to a stock ROM or to any other custom ROM, if I'm being honest here. I read quite a few posts on the XDA thread, and definitely this LineageOS 17.1 build is incredible. It really brings back the Samsung Galaxy S7 and it makes it viable once again. One thing that I haven't talked about is the camera. We all know that the cameras with custom ROMs, well, they don't really fit that well together. But in this scenario, oh, was I so wrong. This camera API is fairly different to what I normally see in a LineageOS build. It looks really well and it has quite a few tweaks. Just take a look at the settings here. You have GPS location, face detection, and still camera. You have countdown timer, continuous shot, picture size, of course 12.2 megapixels, exposure, white balance, shutter sound, picture format, so you can save it in a high efficiency format as well. Video quality, QHD is the maximum resolution, stabilization, noise reduction, and yeah, something really interesting, video codec, so you can save it in the H.265 format, which will definitely save a lot of space. Audio codec, video rotation, time-lapse. Well, my mind was blown when I first saw it. It focuses really fast. It really feels like a, let's call it a stock camera. It doesn't really feel like a put together camera just for the sake of the fact that you need a camera. You also have a Pro mode, which I haven't seen in LineageOS cameras so far. And you can control, as you can see here, settings for ISO, exposure, white balance, and focus. This Pro mode looks similar to what I've seen in Lumia devices back when Lumia devices were a thing. And I feel that it's been greatly improved and that all these features that I just showed you make this device a very interesting daily driver, I might say, for 2021. I've installed Pokemon Go as well. It works flawlessly. Again, take into account that this device is 5 years old, but you wouldn't really tell, I guess. Just take a look at the display, which is 1440p in resolution. Yeah, the S21 doesn't have a sharp display such as this one. You do have dual SIM, you do have a micro SD, which the S21 doesn't have. You do have an all glass construction, which is definitely very high quality and feels great. Another thing that the S21 doesn't have, I can definitely see myself using a Samsung Galaxy S7 in 2021. If it comes in a package with this custom ROM at least. It's very lightweight. It doesn't give you an impression of a custom ROM. It feels very well put together. It increases the battery life considerably over stock ROMs. You will get consistent updates, which is incredible for a device which, again, 5 years old. I see no reason why I would not totally recommend this ROM, LineageOS 17.1 for the Samsung Galaxy S7. This is a very stable build. It's a ROM that will definitely feel stock-like from this perspective. Ivan Meller has already created a LineageOS 18.1 build for this, which means Android 11. That one is still in early stages. I will make a video on it as well. If you want a stable experience, this is what you want to go for, the LineageOS 17.1. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please press the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more similar videos in the future, also press the subscribe button, which will be displayed right here in the bottom left part. All the links that I showed you here, and of course the link to the XDA thread will be listed in the video description below. If you have any questions or suggestions about this ROM, please do not hesitate to ask me in the comment section. In the video description, you'll also find the links to my social media accounts and to my Patreon account. Thank you so much once again. This was Mike the Tech Savvy. Wish you a great day. Stay safe, guys. Bye.